All right, good morning, guys. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. How we doing? Happy Thursday. Another day. Apple Day, Amazon Day. Big move yesterday on Google. A little bit of downside Microsoft Meta. So a little bit of a mixed bag on the earnings side. So we'll see what that creates today. Morning, guys. Morning, Margin. Morning, Aiden. G. Fade. Levels. Sid. HB. Morning, everyone. Turglass. Good morning. Golf Nut. I'm actually playing golf today, Golf Nut. I got a tee time book today. Excited for it. A little bit of a later day. Tee time, but should be exciting. It's really nice out in Florida right now. Actually, let's see. What is it going to be? What's the temp going to be later? Right now, it's another beautiful cold morning. 66 degrees. Damn, our high is 77. That's great. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a beautiful day. Guys, give it time on the giveaways, all right? Shipping doesn't happen overnight. It'll come. It's probably a week, I would assume. I'm not handling them, so just they all come. Just got to be patient. It was a free shirt, so just one day it'll show up at your doorstep. Morning, everyone. Chilly up here in Central Florida. Yeah, probably a little bit more chilly in Central, right? What's it doing up there? 55, nice. Orlando, 55. Man, I love the cold, but for a short amount of time. All right. So today, let's get started. First of all, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Today, we're going to be really precise with, or very particular, I believe. I think it's right to be very particular today with the range that we saw yesterday. Yesterday provided us a trading range on the market that we can now use to guide our decision making, which is really nice. We finally got some kind of a high and low to use to guide our decisions today. And that is the high and low of FOMC. That's the trading range from yesterday. And I think that is going to be the area that price action continues to be relatively difficult. And you probably want to stay somewhat away from or heavily sized down within. Or, look to see if we can break outside of it. So that's really my game plan today. I will share with you guys the levels that I have and my game plan for the trading day inside of this trading range. So let's jump right into it. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Where's my banner at? What the hell? It's gone. The banner has disappeared. Hold on. How does that just disappear like that? That's very bizarre. Let's do that. There it is. Bam. Okay, we're good to go. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Here we go. So, today, we have a very clear trading range from yesterday, both the highs and the lows from FOMC and the overnight session, I have a very clear 26,310 area and then this high at 26,400. So anything in here, I am cautious of the market failing. As you can see, it has continued to do so all of this morning. To the downside, we have previous day lows right around here at previous day lows, right around this 26,050 area. But even below that previous day low, you have Tuesday's lows, and you have this Tuesday overnight low here. And so for me, I do not want to be short into these lows, as you've seen yesterday. And I do not want to be long into these highs, as we've seen yesterday. And I believe that anything inside of this range is going to be action that I have zero interest in trading today. We can clearly see if we go to the 5-minute chart on the NASDAQ futures, here was your day yesterday, right here. I could not tell you how to trade that. I couldn't, and I'm not going to pretend like I could. So I'm not going to trade this if I have no idea how to explain that. There is no explaining this. This is designed to be pointless and take your money away. So, there's no system, no strategy, no repeatable edge inside of this type of price action. Sure, you could, smack these highs and get this straight down candle. Great. Made a lot of money. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. You could long this low after that big drop and get a squeeze on FOMC. Great. I'm very happy for you. That's not, that's not, the point is that it's not impossible to make money in here, but there's nothing in here that I can repeat on a daily basis, on a consistent basis. And so what I want to do here today is I want to say to myself, there's nothing inside of this range that I can repeat consistently, and I'm going to stay away from it. So that's my game plan today. I have no interest in being involved inside of the range of yesterday's FOMC, and if the market trades within this channel today, I will not be trading. It's pretty simple as that. Where do I think opportunity arises? I think opportunity arises if you break under this Tuesday pivot low for a downside move into Monday's low a day, or a downside move into the gap level at 25.7. Or I think opportunity arises if you get a clean break and hold over 26,400 today. So my trading would only happen if you get a hold over 26,400, or you get a break and retest rejection under previous day lows and possibly under this Tuesday pivot low here, right around 25,940 to 26,000, right? That would be the only two spots that I would look for the opportunity on this market. If we stay within this area, I have decided to myself today that I will not trade. I think it's for the better for me, because yesterday I actually had a really good trade yesterday, which was, it worked. Do I absolutely love the trade? It worked nicely. I'll tell you that. Faded our 69.45 previous day high on SPY and shorted into the 31s. Had a nice downside move on the ES here yesterday. Is that something that was clean and very easy to hold? And was it really nice price action? No, look at this. It was terrible to hold. It was miserable to watch. So I just, yes, I made money on that, but I need to remind myself, is that your bread and butter? Is that where your, when I look back at my trading career, is that where all your money is made? Were your big trades made inside of a channel like this on the market? No, they were not. So do I really need to put risk on in that environment? Is the chance of me getting faked out higher? Absolutely, right? And if I put on some stupid high risk inside this area and I get faked out, it's just not going to be a beautiful day. And I want it to be a beautiful day. So going to put on some pretty decent sort of, I don't know what you would say it. What's the word? Putting on like some pretty decent guardrails for myself. If it's above here and below here today, it's a no-go. If it's in the gray, stay away. That was the saying that I was talking to the group about yesterday. If it's in the gray, stay away. So that's my game plan. You may hate it. You may say, oh, Desi, there's going to be so many opportunities for me to scalp, 1-minute candles inside that range. Sure. Yes, of course there will be, but I won't be doing it. So 26,310 to 26,400 highs, down to this Tuesday pivot, 25,943 to 26,000 area. If we're inside that range, it's a no-go for me today. I'll go enjoy a nice round of golf and that's about it. If you break under 25,943, I will look to see if there is downside continuation here. I believe you will get very quick downside continuation all through this zone. Why do I say that? Well, let me show you. If you go to the volume profile, you will see it. So here on the volume profile, we go out to the hourly chart. Look at the volume, all right? Look at the volume on this market right now. Where is all the volume traded? It is all down in this previous channel, and it is all back at these retest highs right here at 25,388, 25,400. That's why I have my golden zone sitting right there. So why do I want to wait? Or first of all, why do I think there's opportunity below this 25,943? Well, it's because I'm looking at this, right? There's a very clear low volume area. I mean, look at the volume here versus here. It's just absolutely clear as day how different that is. So this move higher on literally no volume is going to 100% eventually pull back into this high volume area. That's how the market's going to work. It will pull back to this level, right? As I've been saying, this is going to happen, and we'll see when. Right now, the price action is not allowing it. We can tell on the intraday. Every downside move gets held up. It's not, that day has not come. So cautious of looking for the downside. That's why I have my demand low here, because I don't think it would happen unless you break this low right here. If you do break this low, then I think you might get that free-flowing action if you actually can start trading into this low volume zone, right? Look how different this volume is versus this volume. It is so different here. So I am very interested under this low into this high as a short or as a downside, actually some nice price action, right? That quick price action comes when you have these low volume areas where you just sort of slide through it in a nice downtrend, right? So I'm interested in that. That would be an opportunity, pocket of opportunity, right, inside of this area. I will still be cautious of the Monday low a day. I'll be cautious of the gap level at 25.7. I'll be cautious of the Friday high a day at 25.570, right? I'll be cautious of those being potential pop points. But overall, flowing through this downside move, I think eventually brings you to 25,400. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But right now, it's not. Right? The market is staying elevated, so you can't really force it. That's why I don't want to just try to short these highs in an all-time high market, because you can clearly see what's happening. It's not allowing it to move lower. So what do I need to happen? I need to see a break under some kind of key structure low to see if the price action starts to heat up back to the downside. 25,943, can that happen? The only other long for me today would be a break and retest of these highs. If this market just says, hey, let's go again, right? That would be a break and retest of 26.4. And that would really be the only long for me, because I now have no interest in longing into these highs that are very clearly established. That is not interesting to me at all. So let's see what happens. If it's in the gray, stay away. S&P 500 futures, you can see I have the exact same analysis here. I have the exact same analysis across the board. FOMC highs, FOMC lows. No interest inside of it. No interest in this gray area today. Look at the price action in the pre-market today. You tell me, all right? You tell me how you trade that. There's nothing here. It's all within yesterday's trading range. Nothing has broken. This is all you're trading, right? So not interested in that in the slightest. If you can break under some of these levels, possibly there is interest. And the major retest, let me show you where the major retest is. The major retest is back down right here, right? This retest will come. 68.12 right here. 6,800, 68.12, somewhere relatively in these previous highs. This retest will happen. It will be the pullback to the daily 20 SMA that you guys know that come to this live stream that we see every damn time, right? Every single time. Daily 20 pullback, daily 20 pullback, daily 20 pullback, cap daily 20. Daily 20 pullback, daily 20. It happens every upside move. Big upside move, daily 20 pullback, right? That's how the market works. So where's that daily 20, right? That daily 20 is going to match up to this area here. This is going to be a sick, and I mean sick, trading opportunity in the future here. So why not wait a little bit for that? That's where the juice is going to be, right? And so I want to make sure I don't lose all my money up here and then miss this juice, right? This is all fake juice. Give me the real juice back down here, right? What's the real apple juice? Martin, what is that? Martin. You guys know what I'm talking about. The best apple juice there is. What is that apple juice? There it is. Martinelli's. Oh, that's some good stuff right there. Martinelli's apple juice. That's what I want. Give me the Martinelli's apple juice right here. No Mott's. Mott's, right? Throw away the Mott's and give me the Martinelli's. That's right. So, that's sort of what I'm trying to do in this market right now. I'm trying to really wait for that A+ opportunity because it just does not sit right with me to be sized long or even sized short, right? It doesn't sit right with me to be sized on either side right now. And so, I like to take size. I like to be confident. I like to take positions that I'm like, yes, this is it. Right? I don't really want to just take onesie twosies up here and just sort of show up and try to give someone a trade because, that's what I do, right? I'm tired of it. So give me something real. Robert, take it easy. All right. So cautious of the 68.90, cautious of the 68.76 Monday lows, and then cautious of the gap level at 68.65. This is definitely a juiced up area of demand, right? There's definitely possibility of markets bouncing in this area right here. You can see yesterday, and I would assume that could happen again today. So I would like to see us break below 68.65, where I would then look for an opportunistic move back down to 40, where the market could maybe move lower through 65 into 40 in the gap fill. That's opportunistic. And I even think that you would probably end up breaking this Friday high and pulling back to our 68.12, right? So that's where I would be looking for it. If I go to this chart and I pull up, let me check what the volume profile is looking like. Yep, you can see it right there, right? Look where that volume picks up again. Back down at it's back down at this high right here. Back down at our 67.85 to 67.85, 68.12 area. Back down to these highs and these highs right in our demand zone. You can see that's where the volume starts to pick up. That's where the point of control is right there, right? So that's my spot, right? And very cautious of being stuck on an island up here, being the last one long, as this will likely and very highly likely flow through this low volume back to high volume and retest this high. And I just don't want to be the guy that's stuck with size up at these highs and everything just tanks on me, right? That is the worst possible scenario. And knowing from experience, I've done this before. And I've been the last one on a long side expansion. And it hurts. It hurts a lot, right? Because by the time you build up false confidence to just long the market because it's like, well, we're just going to keep going higher, so why don't I just long? That's the exact day that it goes straight down. And then you're like, well, shit. Right? So I just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. I've missed it from this point, right? And hey, maybe this is speaking to some of you out there. If you've caught this, I have nothing but respect for you. Well done. Awesome job. If you have not caught this and you are feeling similar to how I'm feeling, then you should be very careful of just saying, well, F it. I'm just going to long it because that's what keeps happening. That is the worst thing to do. Whether that makes you money or not, that mindset long-term is going to ruin you. Trust me. Right? Trust me. I know it's hard to not just long this and just say, well, F it, man. We just keep going higher. So I'm just going to take some random long and hope I make money. Make sure it has some kind of precision to it if you're going to do it. I would say for me, if I'm going to re-long this market, it's going to be a short-term trade and it's going to be just a hold above the highs, right? If I can get a nice juiced break and retest above the highs, sure. I'll look for a nice long and get that, 10, 20, 30% scalp on something and take my money and run, right? That's fine. I'll do that. That's all right. I can be protected on a short-term scalp on a break and retest to all-time highs. I'm sure that'll show up if the market is strong again, right? But not going to just sort of set up a random long and hope that it just breaks this high and, hopefully we gap up tomorrow and hopefully we hit, 7,000 on the ES because I think that's where it should go, right? Just be careful with that. So if you're going to look for a long here, which I'm not saying is a bad thing because that's the trend of the market right now, look for a precise long. Either look for us to break above the highs and hold above them, or you can potentially set up a nice pullback long in this demand. That's something you could look for as well, right? For me, I've decided I'm just going to stay away from it until we get outside of this range. So either longs above the highs or shorts below the lows, 68.65, right? That's it. That's it for me. And then ultimately looking for us to pull back to the point of control and the golden zone back down at 6,800, 6,812 area. That's really where I'm hoping we get a pullback to. Again, that is a pullback to long, by the way, my friends. This is not like I am a permabull hoping for downside on this market. I am just a cautious and trying to be the most correct I can be on where I long this move, right? Because I know when I look at this chart, there's nothing in my mind that tells me that this should not happen, right? This retest back down to all of this volume. Look at this 4-hour chart on the SPY. This retest will happen, and that will be an awesome long opportunity, one that is well worth the wait. That will also be the daily 20 SMA that sort of creates that daily 20 SMA curl, and then you get your daily 20 SMA to match up. Bam, long it, sick retest. We're all going to be looking pretty right there, right? But for now, we're just not getting it. So it's a little bit frustrating because it's like, can we just get the pullback, man? Give me what I need, but it's just not happening. You can clearly see it. Here on the hourly chart, looking at the volume profile, you can see very low, non-existent volume here due to the gap up, and then extremely low volume even on that Friday as you move lower. So for me, if you break under 681.35 on SPY, if you break this consolidation range right here, which again, I will not be trading within, if you break outside of that range, I think they're very opportunistic downside back towards the golden zone. And then I also think it is a very opportunistic long back at the previous all-time high and back at 674 SPY, right? So opportunity. This area is opportunity. For me, inside of the FOMC range, it is not opportunity, especially with Apple and Amazon earnings in the after hours, right? Storm Leroy, appreciate that, brother. Thanks for joining. So that's it. That's it for me. 680 or 690 SPY highs, 681.35 lows. You got yourself a very big range, very much a possible trading range to take advantage of. I am, again, not saying that that is not true. If you shorted these highs, if you just long these lows, and this thing just keeps doing this, then yeah, beautiful, right? That's going to pay. That's just not my style. You guys know me. That's not what you know me for. I am not a channel trader, and so I'm not going to try to become a channel trader. I'm just going to enjoy my time off. I'm going to try my best to enjoy sort of just sitting back and waiting. I need to learn a little bit more, right? That is my last chink, the last chink in my armor that I need to fix as a trader is to learn how to stay a little bit away from certain opportunities, right? That really is like the last thing that I think is something that would take my trading to a whole nother level, right? It's like I definitely have a hard time turning down an opportunity. And I definitely do find opportunities that maybe are not 100% on the intraday, and I want to do a little bit better, and this market is teaching me that right now to be like, hey, let's try our best to just not trade when it's not perfect. I want to do that. I want to work on that into end of year and really do that into 2026, because that is like, if I look back at my year this year, which has been a good year, it was not as good as last year. We're up around 440, I think, is where I'm up right now. Last year was a 7-figure year for me, which was insanity. Really just helped by two massive trades. So that was sort of like what pushed it over the edge. But the one thing that I look back at this year is there's definitely some trades that I could have stayed away from, right? Some trades that I just sort of made out of thin air. I just sort of created on the intraday. Just sort of, saw some kind of 2-minute candle, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. And then I end up losing, right? So, like, I just don't want to be involved in that, especially inside of this range. So that's my goal today. I'm going to see how I do, right? I'm going to set a challenge for myself. I still, still do this to this day. What's the challenge? The challenge for me today is stay away. Stay away from this trading range. I know better than to trade in it. Don't get the spicy Latina whispering in my ear on the intraday saying, hey, come on over here, right? This looks pretty good. And then I look back at it and I say, well, that was just inside the FOMC range. What the hell are you doing trading that range again, right? So you guys know that feeling. You guys know that. You know how it is, right? So set up a game plan for yourself. Try your best to stick to it. That's really what I'm trying to say here. Whatever your game plan is today, it does not have to be my game plan. You can disagree with my game plan. That's fine. That's why trading's a beautiful thing, because we don't all have to agree. And actually, that's the only way the market moves. The only way the market moves is if people don't agree, right? If everyone agreed on price, then it wouldn't move. So that's the beautiful thing about trading. But I'm just sharing with you guys my analysis. That's why I do what I do. So QQQ, same thesis. You guys can see right here. 627.68 lows, 639-ish, 640-ish highs, right? You can see rejecting. Here's your lows. I am not trading inside of this range today. If we can break outside of it, maybe some downside into Monday low a day. There's your gap level. Your gap is right here between 622 and 618. And then ultimately, your retest level, which is just sitting there looking like an absolute beauty. If you look at this right here, let me zoom in. Just an absolute thing of beauty here on this retest level, right back down to this daily high. Just perfect. That will hit. That will hit. And you can see where the volume starts to pick up again, all right? Look at that. You will pull back to this 613 spot on the Qs, like every other market explosion, in my opinion, right? Eventually, I think you will get that pullback, especially with how that daily chart looks. I really think there is a high possibility of that happening. And that's going to be such a sick long when that happens. So I can't wait for that. That's going to be a beautiful retest long. Right now, just staying a little bit cautious as we rip to the upside. And now I have a very clear... The thing that's good about today, and why I sort of bring this up today, is because you actually have a clear channel now. You have a reason to think about this. You have a reason to have this type of analysis today, because this is now a very clear range from yesterday's FOMC, right? It's not just like, it's not like this day on Monday where it's no range, or Tuesday where there was no range. Now we actually see the high and we see the low. So now we can sort of say, all right, I know where my high is. I know where my low is. The levels are starting to give me clarity. And with this clarity, let me now create a good game plan, all right? Fade Doctor, the levels are leveling. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, just another rejection up here. Yeah, it's just, it's doing nothing. Chef, yeah, we could say that's a rejection, right, Chef? But guess what? Guess what the next candle could be? Bam. And then guess what? We could say, oh, this looks like it's going to break out. Bam. Oh, look, it looks like another rejection. Let's see if we fade it. Bam. And, oh, my God, look, this might actually break out this time. Bam. Oh, look, it's down lower. It's down into previous day lows. I'm going to look to short here at the previous day lows. Bam. Right? I just don't want to be that guy today. Just don't want to be that guy today. Okay? That's really the last thing I want to happen to me today. So, trying my best to be cautious. And just sort of portraying that cautionary with you guys. And we'll see. We'll see how it sets up. SMH, want to see it under this 365.82. That's really where I'd like to see that break. That's previous day lows. If you can get under that PDL, I think you do have some nice action to the downside, down towards the 360. That is something I would watch today. I do like that setup. We will see. We will see. All right. Let's go to gold. So gold, interesting sort of channel again. nice rejections at the 4080s and the 4050, and then very good holds. We're still holding our 3900. So that 3900 level is still maintaining from our Tuesday low that we saw, that we talked about yesterday. That low is still there, right? So got to be a little bit careful in here. Just sort of right in the center. 3900, 4080. If I zoom out, you can see where that 4080 comes from. It's right here, 4080, double top highs, right there. That's your supply. That's your demand. This is your channel. Look to play the channel levels if you so please. I'm going to wait to see if something breaks out of it. Tesla. So Tesla is doing exactly what we wanted to do. Okay, so we talked about yesterday in the live stream. We said don't long into this supply. What you want to see is a pullback to this demand, and what you want to see is the beginning of a channel, right? This is verbatim what we said yesterday on our Tesla analysis. We said let's not long into supply. Let's get a pullback into demand, and let's start the consolidation phase. There you go, right? That is exactly what Tesla did today. It consolidated above the previous high. So this is still good as long as Tesla holds 450. This is exactly what Palantir did before yesterday's breakout. Look at Palantir. Put Palantir and Tesla's chart on top of each other. They are identical. And this is not because they're similar stocks. It's just because this is how these charts work, right? This is how technical analysis works. So if we put Tesla over, let me go ahead and it's going to be hard to match it up perfectly, but I'll try my best. If we put Tesla over, right there. See that? See the similarities here? So, what do you have? Let me move that back. Tesla and Palantir, right? You have channel, right? See the white and the colored? So, channeling, both channeling here, right? Channeling, okay. We get a breakout above the channel high, right? Look, this is consolidation, breakout channel high, both of them, consolidation, above these highs, right? What did Palantir do? It went break, retest, hold, breakout, right? Continuation. What is Tesla doing? It's still in that continuation, or it's still in that consolidation period. Now, we'll have to see, right? Does it hold that consolidation low? That's a must. But you can see very clearly how this is setting up the exact same. So look at Palantir, highs, structure, very clear structure channel, right? Look at the structure highs here, turning into lows. That is absolutely perfection. That is perfection analysis there. And then look at how that creates your next leg. So let's look at Tesla. Okay. We have our channel. We have our channel high. That is trying to turn into lows. This has to hold. If this can hold and consolidate, guess what that will lead to? Next move higher. So we have to see if this can hold again today. I'm not so interested in longing this channel low. That's not really the interesting trade for me. The interesting trade for me is when I can have that day that really rips off this, holds above this supply, and I can now long this continuation move, right? So what do you do now? You stay watching it, right? You stay connected to it. You understand what's happening, and you make sure you're watching that move. Yesterday, of course, the way Palantir broke out, unfortunately, was just so straight up that I didn't catch it. I was dying and begging for this pullback yesterday on Palantir, and it just never happened. I wanted this retest of this previous high yesterday so bad. We had an afternoon sort of squeeze, late morning squeeze. I wanted that pullback long back to previous high a day, and it said, no, sir, I'm not giving you that pullback. That's exactly where I wanted it, though. Right back to that 193, 192.80 spot. It would have been so sick. Unfortunately, I did not receive the pullback that I wanted to get. But so is life. So I would look for that to happen again, though. If Palantir can pull back to this 193 high, that could be something to really look for. But anyways, let's continue. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, I would just be a little bit careful of how extended this is on that straight up day. That would be my only concern for you. If I go to the volume profile, you guys can see right here, it will be a very low area of volume. If we go, let's even go to the hourly chart. Take a look at this right here, right? See this on the volume profile? Here's your previous high at 195. Here's your straight up move. Look at the volume profile, extremely light. So please be careful if you are long. If that starts to navigate through that area, it will go down very quickly. So 195, that would be the retest level that I would love to get. Retest this high, give me a nice, beautiful pullback long. Cautionary of this low volume area. And now we can start to see some highs being created at 212, right? So that's what I want to see, right? I want to see us get a pullback back to that 195 spot, give back this straight up move, and then give me that new long. Okay, that's it. That thesis will stay true across every stock I'm looking at today. I will continue to look for that exact thing. That's just going to be that's going to be what I'm looking for. Let's continue. AMD. There's only one level for me on AMD unless we break the highs. It's pretty damn clear. It's right here, right? That's about as perfect as it gets. Previous high, previous high, previous high. Squeeze. Sort of sitting at this high. Can we get a pullback long? That's what I would look for. 244, 245. That's the spot for me. That's the spot for me. Either that, or if I if I got to look for a break and hold over 267, then I'll look for it. I'm okay with that. I'm okay looking for break and retest of the highs, but I'm not going to long into those highs. I'm either going to look for a deeper pullback to long, or I'm going to follow a really strong trend on the day. Either side. MU looking for a pullback to 220. MRVL looking for a pullback to that daily 20 or that 85 spot. MRVL is starting to reject this 91, 92 spot. Broadcom looking for a pullback right here to previous 370 highs. This would be really nice. Look at this 4-hour chart. Perfect previous highs on the 4-hour, highs on the 4-hour. Give me that pullback right here at 374, 370. That would be very, very nice. So looking for that today. AMD, Broadcom, Qualcomm actually giving us a really good pullback as well. Qualcomm has come back down to our 176 level that we talked about. So if you remember the huge day on Qualcomm, we said it's going to pull back to these highs. Here's your daily highs. Here's your daily highs. Look where Qualcomm is pulling back to. It's perfect. So this is one I would watch. What does Qualcomm do at this 174, 176? This retracement right to these previous daily highs. We do have earnings next week, so be careful there, but that is definitely a spot to watch. Apple, no interest. It has earnings after hours. Amazon, no interest. It has earnings after hours, so skipping those. Meta, bam. The Zuckerberg the Zuckerberg is... This thing's been weird. It's been very weird. I mean, it hasn't even moved, really. It hasn't gone anywhere since June, July. It's pretty wild. Meta pretty much flat since June and July, which is sort of strange. So, been a tough trader for sure. Definitely a trade that I am staying very far away from. I really have only taken Meta a handful of times in the last 6 months. 200 SMA, that's really it. The 200 SMA, right? Do we fail this 200 today? If we fail this 200 SMA, you are going down to these highs right here at 664, right there. 664. You got to see what happens at this daily 200 today. Let's take a second, press the like button. If you guys could, I appreciate that. 2,400 people here, 900 likes. Please press that like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. Okay, Microsoft, no interest at all. I mean, Microsoft basically just pulled back to this week's low. I mean, the same levels from last Friday. I mean, it's just you went straight up on Tuesday on some news, and you went straight down on earnings. I mean, what the hell am I going to do with that? So, yeah, really not that interested on this one. Maybe you could look for that long off that 518 spot. Next. Aklo. Another big rejection here. Aklo possibly looking at a downside move here, but there is earnings, so I'm a little cautious on that. But Aklo has continued to fail our exact 148 level over and over again. Look at this. 148 Aklo, failure, 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 and big failure yesterday. Yesterday, we actually got a squeeze above this and got smoked to end the day, right? Look at that. So there is definitely some big boys at this level. Really nice hold over 148. Created a 5-point move to end the day, and then nope. So wild. Definitely a weak spot. Definitely a heavy selling spot on Oklo. That looks pretty sketchy to me. I would definitely look to see if there's continuation to the downside on a break under 130. If this could lead to a next leg lower after failing these highs, that would be pretty sick. That would be pretty sick. But we'll see. It's still inside this channel, so you can't really short into 130 with a whole hell of a lot of confidence, because look what happened the last time that anyone shorted into 130. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah, so not a short into 130, but under that, that's why you see I have an alert there. That's sort of interesting. Palantir pullbacks to 193 I think is very good. Hood. Okay, Hood's failing today, though, so now it might not be as interesting. The whole market looks like it's sort of pulling back, but Hood is an interesting consolidation above 140 in the daily 20. This is technically what you want to see for another leg higher. So highs, break, pullback. We've been talking about getting this pullback. We've been talking about not longing into 148. Look what's happening. Exactly what should happen. So I like the pullback. This is what I want to see happen on this market, and I would like to see these create new longs, because that's sort of the macro trend, right? The macro trend is bullish, but I think there's a need for a retracement in the short term. So 140 is an interesting spot. I would be interested to see if this holds alongside that daily 20 today. That's something I would look for. So keep an eye on that. Google, I really don't have anything for you guys. This thing is just absolutely straight up. Congratulations, Google shareholders. I would probably just look to see if we get a pullback to 290, see what happens down there. That's about it there for me. APP, I do like this consolidation on APP above this 619, 616 area. You can see right here, previous highs into lows. All right, that's a nice little break and hold above. New consolidation range above these highs. That's good stuff. So I'm going to keep an eye on this APP 619. Snow has a very clear pullback that you need to wait for. It's as clear as can be. It's done it every time, right? So what does Snow do? This is how Snow moves higher. So how did Snow move higher last time? It consolidated. It broke out. It broke out. Everyone, tried to chase it. It pulled back into the daily 20, into these previous highs, and curled higher. So what is it going to do this time? It's going to do the same thing. It broke out of these highs, squeeze, pullback, daily 20, next long, right? So for me, there's no long up here after 4 straight up green candles on the daily. I need a nice retracement back to these highs. Give me that retest, then I'll look for the long. ASTS, nice win yesterday, but it looks like, the whole market might weaken this a little bit, but very nice upside move into the morning open yesterday on that. Took nice profits on ASTS. The swing trade was pretty good. Still hold my Decembers, but Decembers are super light. I had 1,000 shares that I sold into the morning open, so made about $2,000-$3,000 on that. And then I hold a December 80 call, and I'm looking to hold that as long as we're over 75. I like this. It's pretty much the same thesis, right? Here's your highs, here's your lows. But if this market does need a retracement and a pullback, then maybe we get stopped out of that one. We'll see. But that's a small little one. That's only one contract in the December 80s. So we'll lose maybe a few $100 if I'm wrong there. The shares overnight was pretty nice, surprisingly. Got a little bit blessed. Definitely got a little bit blessed on the morning squeeze, for sure. We got a nice pre-market squeeze, and I pretty much just sold into the open. So got blessed on that a little bit, but I'll take every blessing I can take. I'll take every blessing I can get, for sure. All right, so NASDAQ is failing. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of a downside move here, finally. Let's see. Let's see if we start breaking channel levels. Now, here's what happens, right? This is exactly what happens on a day like today. I already know. Everyone starts getting horned up. Yep, here we go, right? Looking for downside. Goes into yesterday's lows. Bam. Oh, my God, it's back in the channel again. Okay, you know what? I'll just look to long this then. Bam, straight back down, right? Be careful, please. It looks like it might break the lows, but it has to break the lows. Please be careful. at these lows. Please. Same thing. NASDAQ looks like it's falling off a cliff. Bears are starting to celebrate. Guess what? You still got FOMC lows down here. One of these, one of these, one of those. Just like that. Toast. All right? So, not going to play that game today. Very simply put, I will not be playing that game today. If it's outside of the channel, I'll look for a trade. If it's not, I will be not. I will be not. New word created today. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Gonna try to try to get out of today unharmed. Hopefully we get something clean. If not, to be expected. Can't really not expect there to be more chop before Apple, Amazon earnings. That's an expectation that I would assume is very possible. That is also FOMC digestion, at Meta, Microsoft digestion. You have Meta, Microsoft down. You have Google up. Again, that's a push and pull effect. You have FOMC yesterday. You have Apple and Amazon after hours, right? A lot of question marks that will just ultimately and most likely. Oh, on top of that, Trump talking with President Xi, right? So add another thing to that list, right? So if the market goes sideways today, there should be no one that's surprised, simply put. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we get outside of it, but we shall see what happens. All you can do is try to stay protected, right? And try to set up a game plan and try to stick to it. That's all. So press that like button, subscribe to the channel. I hope you have a great trading day. I really do. Just stay protected. Be smart. It's going to be an interesting day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.